Hello, everyone in all Earth that they are attending and the people from Arizona State University. So power space peace. Power space peace presents the core perennial critical factors of human conflict causing humanity and periodic historic auto-catastrophes. A solution to avoid further repetitions of auto-catastrophe will be proposed. There are two other sessions that I had on the previous years in Mars Society, which is called All Space to All, and you can see the YouTube link there and the title of the presentation, and the proposal for creation of Interhuman Space Migration Corporation, ISIC, that I suggest you to see it because there's not much time to show again all the details that were presented over the last two years. In brief, the previous talk had a description of the ancient technology from the antiquity mechanism and all the astronomical and mathematical knowledge we had with calendars that ancient Minoans used to use in order to navigate and move themselves into space. So our future is rooted to our origins. That is found into the earliest recorded, guaranteed and proven archaeology and history roots, lasted for about 3,000 years before the catastrophe from the Thera volcano eruption and its consequences. This is proven experience of felt grace of God that can be verified under the limits we can achieve. The point of the timeline of humanity was operating in graceful peace and prosperity in space ended there. That was the catastrophe of the Minoan civilization, which was about 3.5 years ago, up to 1200 years before Christ. All right, so this is a promising, the third one, it's a promising non-rocket space launcher airplane space vehicle. It's made from, it's actually under construction and it's made from reaction engines. And that is a solution that will give us one of the cheapest ways to deliver things, cargo to space. Here is where we are now today in terms of costs. If you can see in this table, down on the bottom right, you will see that we can drop with various means, either with Falcon X from SpaceX or the Starship or the reaction engines, the cost up to $10 per kilogram, which is a goal that can be achieved. With this goal, we can go there. What is that? It is the need of energy generation for all Earth, which is the prime reason in all times for any conflict, especially war conflict between people, energy. So the solution of escaping forever the repetition of human regression on energy production and the consequently produced stupid government power games over historic time, it is simple and comes from the 70s. There is a link there in Wikipedia, and it is the space-based photovoltaics. Every 2 seconds, the energy emitted from the sun in the form of light has the value of the world's budget of the next 200 trillion years. This is from Dionysius Dimopoulos, a well-known astrophysicist that passed away last summer. You can see there how this technology simply works, and more or less everybody knows that is something that is achievable, and we should have done it. If we compare that solution with other solutions like coal, nuclear, petrol, gas, hydro, wind, tidal, sea wave, land and sea, and of course the nuclear fusion with an example that the Koreans have achieved, I think a few months ago, finding getting really close to an operating solution of the fusion reactor, then we can see that all the other solutions presented here have their fallbacks, except the one that I proposed in the beginning, photovoltaics in space, in low Earth orbit. That solution is good because does not harm at all our environment, which we need it to be sustainable for all the future generations. And on the other hand, that is eliminating any possible conflict among nations or governments or company interests. This is exactly what we live again today over the last months with the war in Ukraine, which is actually a war between East and Western interests, which it seems that will escalate and maybe going up to nuclear war. So what we need to do in the intermediate time until we will be able to base all the photovoltaics in space. So in the immediate agreement, nations to join together into this solution will stop the energy world war that has been created upon Ukraine, Europe territories between West and East. Until the realization of this world creative common agreement, the intermediate transitional solution must be the exploitation of Southeast hydrocarbons that can cover the needs of European, African, and Middle East people. That is actually the main root of the reason of the conflicts that they are being created in Europe and Ukraine on the last time. So the deal has to be as such. 25% of Eastern interests has to go 25% for the Western interests and 50% for international legal exclusive economic zone states solution for the Southeast Mediterranean hydrocarbons that will supply Europe for the next 30 to 50 critical transition and transfiguration years. A peaceful solution that will provide the time to develop and prepare fully the space photovoltaic parks. For the elimination of any arrogant attitudes like Turkey's in our region, a privileged price should be offered under very strict terms and conditions under the international law. I mean, a privileged offer of hydrocarbons that will be supplied to Turkey state. Those rules must be made from the legal producing partners and offered to Turkey to accept or refuse. Else, an illegal rig installation and infrastructure in our exclusive economic zone, as shown below, will be blown up rightly, whoever is the owner or exploiter sooner or later. So we have to save the hydrocarbon wisely for humanity, as well as the interhuman preparation of massive quest to Moon, Mars, asteroids, and beyond. Because, you know, we need to use hydrocarbons for all other uses except burning it for the obvious reasons in order to sustain ourselves without conflict and find other ways that do not produce conflict and create our energy, which is the main, autocatastrophe, self-destruction. We have to live with love, care, and respect to our home Earth. Wasting matter through consumption and use to maintain our survival will keep us in an endless vicious cycle. Save Earth from sea, land, air, space pollution from wrong uses of technology. Save oceans, seas, lakes, rivers from further pollution, nuclear, chemical oils, spills, leakage, disasters like the Deep Horizon disaster or the Fukushima disaster, etc. Save food chain from cancer and illness fertilizer, cancerous and illness fertilizers, illness-creating fertilizers, and bad pesticides. Purify atmosphere, recycle and reuse everything possible, develop and implement the cableless power grid by developing the Nikola Tesla inventions and innovations, and minimize costs of electricity to zero. Resurrect humanity's awareness of its own stupidity and teach responsibility by all possible peaceful and ethical pedia, education, training, regulations, rules, and controls interhumanly. Now I want to talk another approach that can do the right thing for space, because all we want to use is the universe. It's all given to us. Nature is part of the nature. So although logical science and engineering has given so much so far towards revelation, understanding, and constructing ways to see and be able to travel to near space celestial destinations, we should look into other meta-science ways to cooperate synthetically, helping us reaching the regions of habitable or expandable space that logical sciences and engineering limiting us. Light itself is timeless. As times does not exist. Light is timeless, and when the photons are traveling to the speed of light, then light speed, that's the light speed at vacuum, and then time is eliminated. Proof that the ability of overlapping the speed limit of light barrier has been proven to those with the charisma of metaphor, as it is known in ancient faith, the Christian orthodoxy. Granted from the Holy Trinity's grace, metaphor charisma makes those who have it to be able to be present in various different places at the same moment and return timeless, making miracles for the name of God, like the Virgin Mary and millions of known and unknown saints. Even when we're still in life, they can be present physically and simultaneously by in many different places the same moment. The problem that impairs trips in outer space were proven like Earth planets. Choosing repentance and the ancient human progressive state that Minoans has proved they had before the natural incidental catastrophe from the theory of volcanic eruption, earthquake and tsunamis, etc., of the culture of the civilization state and living status will bring us in front of the threshold of seeing the mentioned Atlantis state and status of living. These are mentioned on the previous Mars Society conventions that I taught. Then hopefully, with the grace of God, we may enter the kingdom of heavens, experience from this life granted the theosis, joining our flesh and soul with the Holy Trinity as we are meant and created to be with. The time that humanity was presenting and returning to our original full grace status, being before our fall into selfishness, authority, and total belief, to thinking, having grace left our bodies and souls. So here are the examples iconized, is the Holy Trinity with angels Gabriel and Michael, and some saints that have the metaphor charisma. One of them is here is Father Ephraim, which is from of monastery of St. Anthony in Arizona, where the Arizona is near the Arizona State University, where the convention is held. They had that charisma metaphor, among other millions of known and unknown saints. Because we might use except the science and technology and politics and economics and all these tools that we have, we might go the way these people went in order to be able to move themselves to any place in a timeless and actually effortless way. I just have put it there as an idea for your thoughts and your thinking to see that some other things can be overcome with different ways. So now, where many roosters crow, the dawn comes late, is a Hellenic proverb. If we want success, let's do what the Holy Trinity wants us to do, which is the right for all, instead of what we think individually doing is right. That is the way to be always all right for all people and saved, enjoying Earth and the known and currently unknown universes. This is actually why we would like to, and we want to go to space. It's not just curiosity or interest scientific. We need to use space for our well-being, exactly the same way as we use Earth for our well-being. So Eucratia polity is a proposed polity that we need to use in order to be able to eliminate the problems we create among us and be able to collectively use our powers to go to space. I won't elaborate more on that, just to put a few words on this because it's for future presentations. So all human powers to good, all human powers but must be concentrated to the good, right? Example elements of proposed Ukrainian polity are the transfiguration of defense ministries to peace ministries. Ministries that will take care for peace, not for creating or defending, creating war or defending from possible war threats. Gradual elimination of all kinds of inter-country and intergovernmental weapons. Replacement with peace defense weapons, that is the virtues, via adaptation of full repentance, living attitude in pedia, education, arts, lawmaking, policies, culture, in all current country states. Interhuman space law frameworks creation in such a way as to facilitate and enhance human space expansion for the equal benefit of all humanity. So wait for a crash polity to be revealed and released only if we want truly deeply to transfigurate humanity's interhuman life from the misery we experience today to what the Holy Trinity wants us to live on Earth and all cosmos. So it's called to all. The way we go, all this must start being created within the next 3 to 5 years before we enter the darkest and most stagnant, dark, historically recorded era of all times. Everybody in the world can sense that. We have sensed it over the last 3 years, over the last year, very intensely, and we will sense it much more intensely in the future. Things are going. What will occur due to our intransigence for not using all the ecclesiastical, scientific, engineering, management, governmental, leading, cultural, political, state, and all our living existence the right way, that's the God's way, after all the aforementioned blessings. Instead, we use ourselves and spend our time with bad and sacred judgment being led to self-destruction from time to time in the historic eras. We pray and expect God to provide after our good labors. Now, this talk will be personally sent after presented today to all critical heads of state, decision makers affecting the fates of humanity from epistasy, as I write, which is ecclesiastical, political, economic, scientific, technology, artistic, social, environment, spaces, humanity. Thousands of people as well who want, can, and are able to contribute and implement together our common interhuman scope, delivering our expansion to space through powering space peace actively. So we do it, we all do it for all, ever, everywhere. That's the way we propose, and that's the right way to do space, Mars exploration, moon, and everything regarding space for the benefit of all of us. Thank you very much, Ian. I hope I was not too much on this presentation. I can hear any questions. There are any questions.
Oh, yeah. So I guess one question is, did you give this presentation before at the previous Mars Society conventions?
No, I have given 2 other presentations before, but the last years. Here's at the beginning. One on the 23rd annual International Mars Society Convention, which has the title All Space to All. And we're elaborating in much more detail parts of the mentioned on this presentation. And the second one was last year, the 24th Annual International Mars Society Convention, Proposal for Creation of Interhuman Space Migration Corporation. The best way to understand this presentation is to first see thoroughly and question yourself the last 2 years presentation, because it's just 25 minutes that I have on this one. I could not elaborate on all this. I just mentioned on this presentation the key points that are critical now, according to what the humanity passes through and will pass in the foreseen future. I mean, the war and the international conflict, which, if it goes the worst way, I mean, nuclear, we might lose maybe 1/8 of the global population. That's 1 billion people, right? And if you remember, last war, Great War, World War, the Second World War, there was 80 million people. This time will be 1 billion people. So I just pointed the most critical things that I think now are crucial to be heard and listened from all the people that I will send to this presentation.
Yeah, and also your presentation reminds me of this quote from Buckminster Fuller, which is, "Selfishness is unnecessary, war is obsolete. It is a matter of converting high technology from weaponry to livingry."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not saying the ideas that are absolutely fresh, except some, technicalities like the hydrocarbon solution that is in our area, etc. It's something that is implanted in our souls. All the people know what is good, even if they are scientists or wise people or reputed people or whatever. We all know what is right. The problem is that we don't do the right thing. That's our problem. We don't do what is good for all. And the right thing is only proven when it's done that nobody is harmed. That is actually God's will. The right thing is the done thing that harms no one what is done. Things that are happening today, even in space or in politics or geopolitics, are harming one side, the other side, parts of the one side, parts of the other side. And that's bad. That's not good. Will not lead us to something, someplace that is good. I would like also to mention just a few words on things. We all know about the space junk as well. It's about 4,500 satellites that revolving around Earth, and God knows how many pieces that are space junk. That is something that will congest so much space that we will not be able to do absolutely nothing in the future by using space, not only to bring the power of the sun on Earth, but even go to any other place massively over that. So I want to mention that as well. Right.
Oh, and I see someone has a hand up. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Oh, maybe you can speak.
Marufa. Thank you.
Manousos.
Marufa, it's Arabic word, sorry. Really great presentation, I learned a lot. I'll lower my hand first. Okay, so you mentioned like head of the state, like when you're doing future projection, you're thinking like power will be given to the head of the state.
No. I mean, the power, polity, Russia polity has a basic element. All the power has to go to good.
Yes.
I mean, I'm Manousos, but no, I'm not all times good. So I need to be good when I do, politics, right? So it's another, the overall idea, the mindset. Democracy is not enough anymore, the way we know it, which is the best possible polity that we use after the ancient Athenians developed it here in Greece, right? We have the Minoan ways, which was the most, if you see the last year's presentation, you will see that the Minoans had the best polity in order to do their commons. That's why they lasted 3,000 years, and they were not distracted for among another civilization. They were distracted because of a dramatic, a catastrophic natural earthquake and eruption, the eruption of the volcano. So the Eukratia comes from two words, F, which is good, and kratos, which is power. So the power to the good. So we need to be in a polity that all the power has to be to the good. So it does not reproduces any interest or bad things, personal or such. It reproduces the good. So that we will eliminate, all the troubles that they are making our life misery, because today we're living in a misery. We have everything, science, technology, everything, and we cannot still solve the most basic problems on earth: starvation, illness, right? Poverty.
So sorry to interrupt you. So these projections, are you based on, like, what are the references you're using? Like biblical documents, or is it like?
Yes, the references are, I'm not using, references of like Bible or the gospel, etc. Everybody knows that people that do miracles, like the Father of Frame in Arizona, they have this kind of, the metaphor charisma. And imagine if you need some billions to go to take your body to deliver it to Mars, how would you feel if you could go with a blessing of God and be able to be in Mars without spending absolutely nothing, without wasting any? And they do it. And they do it in the same time. I mean, Father Porphyrios or Father Ephmenios or all the saints or Virgin Mary, etc., could be in the same time talking to you live and me here live too. And it's not something that is not proven. It's proved from the miracles that are happening every moment in our lives, right? Even they are present with their grace, or even they are present physically. So how they do that? They do it because they do exactly what God wants them to do in their lives. Christ, right? And they achieve that. So we can have that, that joining of these two forces, which is the spiritual forces, right? The blessed forces, and the technology, the science, engineering, management, which are actually blessings that we have achieved after our good labors. I'm not saying that against other religions of faith, because other religions of faith might have exactly the same thing, as long as they can prove it. But I'm talking facts here. Facts are that miracles of God are happening every day. People that they have the charisma of metaphor are so many recorded in history, even in modern days, right?
Thank
Other
you.
question, please. You're welcome. Ian, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah, let's see. Does anyone else have any questions here?
I have sorry, my connection is unstable. May I ask some question?
Please do so. Waiting for you.
I'm interested with volcano and body and soul, and how you connected with those ancient manuscripts, which is, to me, it's very related into our body. I used to imagining that our body, it's actually the technology itself. I mean, yeah, this is the machine.
Yeah, it's like a machine, but our body is not a machine. It's something created. It's not manufactured, right?
Yeah, that's
So we are created. We are created, and we are. When we look to ourselves, to our organism, we look like it, and we understand, everyone, that we are the most sophisticated being in the universe, right? But we are not just body. We have a soul which is eternal as well, and we all feel it. We all know it, and them two are working together, are in one union, right? So body and soul are together. So by looking at science, technology, and the materialistic way, our existence, then we can go up to there. But if we add the powers of our souls and the powers that the spirit we have inside us, the God spirit, the God that is being into this body, then we can do miracles. And actually going to Mars and space is like doing a miracle. It's not something easy. It's something miraculous if we finally achieve it, to be able to to move and visit other places and live in other places like Mars. I don't know if you heard me. So, Ian, can you hear?
Oh, yes.
I hope I answered, because we have run out of time. I hope I answered the question to my friend. So we are one thing, body and soul together, right? And we have to do a miracle, which is going to Mars or Moon and live there, or going to other planets and celestial bodies that they can be new homes to us. That cannot be only achieved with science, technology, management, government, financing, etc. We need to use everything we have. And most of it is in our souls, not in our brains or our bodies, right? This is what I say. Any other question, please?
Okay. Yeah, well, it looks like there's no other questions then.
Okay, great.
Well, yeah, well, thank you for coming and giving this presentation.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. I hope everything goes well to all the rest of the convention. And I hope I'll see you next year in peace. We want peace.
Yeah.
Now, peace in all earth, in order to be able to gather all powers we have in all earth to go and enjoy the rest of the universe. We are still here on earth, and we have all the universe in front of us waiting for us.
Yeah.
So power, space, peace.
Oh, yeah. Okay, bye.
Right, thank you.
I'm sorry, I was disconnected. Thank you for the explanation.
You can always email me. My email is on my presentation. You will see it, and we can have a personal chat if you want in the future to discuss it more if you want, okay? You're welcome. So goodbye to everyone. See you next year, hopefully in peace.